There is an unthinkable WWE idea that could become a reality for Rhea Ripley, and in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that idea is and why I think it absolutely should happen and can absolutely work. Because Rhea Ripley this year has been paired with Damian Priest. It goes back to their days as members of the Judgment Day. It goes into Damian feuding with Finn Balor and Dominant Mysterio. Goes into Rhea feuding with Liv Morgan, who infiltrated Judgment Day, who became a member of Judgment Day, who has aligned herself with Dirty Dominant Mysterio. In fact, they actually had a mixed tag team match at Bash in Berlin. It was Damian, it was Rhea going over Liv and Dominic as part of Rhea's ongoing feud with Liv. Rhea obviously setting the world on fire this summer and into the winter. Thank goodness she is back, even though she has a mask on her face and she's dealing with a broken orbital bone, which absolutely sucks. But the fact that she's had this unbelievable feud with Liv Morgan and she's been able to bring in Damian Priest, it's worked out for everyone. It's worked out for Rhea because it gives a different dynamic and a different layer to this feud. It helps Damian Priest, who is been in a on-again, off-again feud with Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. It's given him some wins. It's given him some momentum. And more importantly, it's given him something to do, right? Because, yes, wins and losses matter, but at the end of the day, storylines matter more. That's what we found out with Rhea Ripley. Because technically, she has lost to Liv, she has beaten Liv, and she got a DQ win over Liv, right? If you count the mixed tag, and then the god-awful bad blood match with her and Liv, where Raquel Rodriguez made her return and cost Liv the opportunity to beat Rhea, right? Because it was actually supposed to be Raquel distracting Rhea, and Liv was just supposed to pin Rhea, but that got messed up. But I digress. So, what is this unthinkable WWE idea that could become a reality for Rhea Ripley? Priest and Ripley becoming tag team champions. I know, it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but while speaking with the Wrestling Classic podcast, Priest was asked whether he could see himself and Rhea Ripley win the tag team titles together. And this led to Priest pushing for WWE to actually bring back the Mixed Tag Team Challenge. And this is a concept that occurred for 2 seasons in 2018 where all the matches were mixed tag team matches. And this is what he had to say. Yeah, it's definitely possible, meaning the tag team title win. If they allow Rhea to be my partner for the World Tag Team titles, we could 100% win it. I could see us beating everybody. Now, Priest continued by saying, oh, absolutely. For Rhea and me to win the tag team titles together, that would be huge, very meaningful. We talked about it. At the very least, they should bring back the mixed tag team match. Mixed match challenge thing and create a title for it. Then they could just hand us the titles because no one's beating us. No one. End quote. All right, so let's break down what Damian had to say. First of all, do I think that Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley could absolutely become the tag team titles, or the champions rather? They would legitimately become the tag team titles. That's how dominant they would be as the champions. But do I think that they can actually become champions? Yeah, I do. Because it's a different dynamic. We're not talking about, Dominant Mysterio and Liv Morgan becoming the tag team champions. Right? It doesn't make sense. It's not believable. Poor Liv would get beat up, right? It would just be bad. There'd be a lot of backlash. You can't hit women, etc., etc. Rhea Ripley, on the other hand, though, she has gotten very physical with men in the past. She's gotten physical with Dominic. There's a way that you can book these matches in which Rhea could just simply get the hot tag all the time, or just beat up the men, or they could just not punch her in the face, right? And we see intergender matches on the independents all the time. We've seen it in WWE in the past. So yeah, they could absolutely do it. As far-fetched of an idea that it is, it could absolutely be done. Now, do I think that they would necessarily have a long title reign together? No. I think it would last a month, if that. They would not have multiple matches, or many matches, and there wouldn't be a lot of title defenses. But is it possible? 1,000%, right? Especially if Rhea doesn't win back the women's world title from Liv Morgan. And I don't see Damian Priest beating Gunther for the world title either. So let's just say that. In terms of the mixed match challenge thing, that was an interesting concept, right? It aired on Facebook. That was a early incarnation of streaming on a social media platform. WWE has Speed, which airs on Twitter. Different dynamic because you have matches that last about 5 minutes. and they have separate championships. The mixed match challenge was interesting because it was intergender matches, right? You had a men, so you had two teams. One side you had a male, one side you had a female, and vice versa. It was interesting because they would just magically pick tag teams together. It was very random. I believe Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman won a season. I could be wrong on that. That was many, many moons ago. The fact that he brought up the mixed match challenge, it's an interesting concept. And it's not something in which I necessarily see them actually doing. But if a Twitter or a Facebook or a TikTok or whoever came to them and said, hey, we had this idea, you have a proven model, and or, hey, we want to do something with you, we want to create a new show, but we want to put it on our social media platform, do you have any ideas? They can absolutely bring that back, and they go, hey, this is what we got from 2018 on Twitter. Social media has only gotten bigger. And we believe on your platform we can draw a bigger audience in which we did in 2018. And here's the idea, and this is how it works, and this is who would be in it. I think there is merit. I think there is legs to that. I think if we're going to boil it down to, is it more of a reality that Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley become the tag team champions, or the fact that WWE brings back the mixed match challenge? I would say the likelihood of the mixed match challenge returning is probably much more likely than Rhea Ripley as a woman winning the men's tag team titles. Not saying it's far-fetched in the sense of it actually happening, but I think mixed match challenge would be a lot more likely to happen. That's not to say that Rhea winning the titles is a bad idea, or mixed match challenge is a better idea than her winning the tag team titles, but we're talking about reality here, and you have to deal with reality in a lot of ways. So if you look at it like that, that's the way that I would see that. I would do that. I think if you could pair Rhea and Damian in more matches going forward, I think that would be good. I think that would be good for Rhea. I think that would be good for Damian because it does a few different things. One, it gets them on meaningful matches, right? And it gets them wins. And storylines matter, but wins and losses also matter. Not as much. Storylines matter way more, but definitely you want your top stars to be known as winners. You don't want them to lose every match. That's one of the knocks that I've had on Triple H. He will just beat his top stars like drums. While Vince McMahon, he would do, 50-50 booking all the time, which drove me nuts as well. But we'll see. We'll see if this unthinkable idea actually becomes a reality.